Welcome, everyone, to the newest Bowls podcast on the internet. What a load of bowls. Co-hosted by myself, DJ Dilworth, and my good mate, Simon Little. This podcast is brought to you by the Bowls Academy, or the TBA for short. So for our pilot episode, we just want to touch on what is the TBA and what the listeners can expect from this little piece of listening pleasure each time that we come back. So Simon, you're the founder of the Bowls Academy, mate. What is it that the bowlers can expect from the Bowls Academy? What experiences of all levels are they going to get?
Hello, welcome everyone to the very first episode of our podcast. Excited and pumped to finally have it off the ground. DJ and myself have been talking for quite a while to get this thing going, so we're excited to get this up and running. So the Bowls Academy, it aims to provide lawn bowlers with a platform, resources to take their game to the next level. So at the moment, we have bowlers worldwide, not only within Australia. They come to the TBA website, they look at our podcasts, and they look at our blog posts, which give them insightful articles to read about how to develop their game, how they can develop their club with administration, marketing, and also some knowledge sharing throughout the bowls community.
Yeah, nice, mate. So, as you said, it's hit the ground running. Not much publicity as to the level it could be, but there's certainly an interest there from what you've seen with your subscribers. Where did the idea come from, mate? What did you think? There's a niche in this market, and I should get involved here. And what made you want to do it?
Yeah, I think there's a gap in the market for knowledge for bowlers. Really, there's quite a few club coaches out there within Australia. A lot of volunteers that spend a lot of time on the greens helping players with their delivery. But taking it to the next level, it's usually how does a player become a grade 3 player if they're a grade 5 player? How do they make the step to the next level? And usually that involves the intricacies of our game. So more of tactics, mindset, things like that. And that's kind of what we want to fill the void with TBA. And with our exposure for yourself, DJ, and myself, with elite club exposure, we can pass on that knowledge and playing with elite bowlers as well throughout the country.
Yeah, nice. Righto, so we'll move on, mate. We'll give these listeners, we're anticipating a massive following, mate, as you know.
Absolutely.
Like
I think they'll be downloading it in the thousands.
Absolutely, mate. We're very popular around the green. Well, you're popular around the greens. I'm polar.
You might be popular for the wrong reason.
Well, yeah. There's definitely, I'm well known, that's for sure. Anyway, so let's, just so they can relate to us, let's give them a bit more background on who DJ and Simon are. So, generically, both of us grew up Northern Ireland. Both of us then started bowls from a very early age, and that all came as is regular back at home. It comes through playing with family. We're both lucky enough to go on and represent Ireland on our 25 level. We even got put on the same rink together.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a test of my patience playing with you, I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can understand, man. I'll give you raps. So there was that series in Air, if you remember, where all I heard from Graham McKay, our skipper, all weekend was just throw it around the back, just throw it around the back.
Yeah, well, that's what happens whenever you have a good solid lead, and you at second got an armchair ride. Yeah,
exactly, mate. Well, I'll give you that one, but yeah, I did enjoy 2011 at City of Derry too, where we won a British Isles title.
Yeah, was that the year I got dropped from the Irish team?
It might have been,
okay.
or rested. I didn't want to say dropped, but rested.
Okay.
Yeah, rested. Yeah. All right, man. Anyway, and then, obviously we've had that experience back at home together, and we've both taken the plunge sort of at separate times in our lives and moved out of God's country and moved down here to the land down under. So, mate, who is Simon Little? Where are you from originally? How did you get into the game? A little bit more detail on that, and basically where are you now, both on and off the green?
Yes, I moved over here in 2012, and I moved to Tarrant Point. The legend Wayne Turley got me on board at Tarrant Point, and I've been there ever since. Probably one of the
when you say he got you on board, was that in response to the email you sent begging for an opportunity?
I wouldn't say begging, but I said, "Oh, can I come and play, please?" And he said, "Okay."
Yeah.
He helped me out a lot whenever I came over first, moving over, emigrating, came with just a backpack of clothes and came over to try my luck and play some bowls and see how it went. And lucky enough, I fell into a good bunch of guys, a great community at Tarrant Point Bowls Club. A lot of members there helped me, not only on the green, but off the green, put a lot of time and effort into me. And I really appreciate their efforts back then. And I'm still here 12 years later. So, there's obviously something good going on at Tarrant Point. And it's been a wonderful ride so far. Lucky enough, we've won a few state titles in pennants along the way and a few personal titles along the way as well in the last 12 years. It's been, I guess, a really good time in my life at the moment, actually, when I have a beautiful daughter who's just been born that is 6 weeks old, little Ellie. So not only has it been successful over here in terms of a bowling career, my own personal life has definitely been a positive and some positive outcomes from emigrating and moving to Australia and meeting my lovely fiancée, Vanessa. So I've been here, as I say, 12 years, and I don't see myself moving anywhere from the beautiful shores of Cronulla is where I live. So I'm in Sharks territory.
And it's a downside, isn't it?
So you have to support the Sharkies when you're living in the Shire.
You don't have to, but no.
I think you do. Yeah. But when the ground's just around the corner, I think, that's my local team. So, I think I'm not a diehard Sharkies fan, more so a football fan or a soccer fan, as we would say. But it's been good moving over here, and but I think you were one of the first ones to move over here, DJ. You kind of set the trail for everyone to come over.
Yeah, well, it was. I've always had a bit of a sporting background, studied sport at university and stuff, and I planned on, going into sports development and teaching and coaching and stuff I got there, no matter what the track was. And Australia's always had that big sporting background across all sports. Obviously, rugby union being a big thing back at home as well, and watching the British Irish Lions come out here and Ireland and all that tour out here. I was always very interested to actually come and see the country. And then, four of us made the trip out in 2008. Myself, Dave Duncan, Andy Duncan, and James Gaston. And the intention, mate, like I've always been a homebird. I was never really leaving anywhere, but came out here, experienced it, loved it. It was, we loved down in Albion Park there, and the guys really took us under their wings and really accepted us. And me and Andy stayed a bit longer than the other two guys and really became part of the furniture down there. And luckily enough to meet my now wife, Yana, down there as the barmaid at Albion Park. So, middle 2009, Andy and I had to come back home, visa expiries and all that there. I came back out 2011 just on a tourist visa just to spend more time with Yana.
They let you back into the country?
They did. Lucky
Australia.
Lucky Yana, mate. Lucky Yana. But came back out in 2011, spent another 3 months with her because we kept that long distance relationship going, which no easy feat, but that extra 3 months just sort of sealed the deal for us. We got engaged, and then it was all about working towards the visa to get out here on a permanent basis. So not quite like you, where I've just loved in the country as a backpacker. I've had to work a bit around that to get out here, but moved out 2012. Luckily enough, not long after I got there, I moved on from Albion Park to Thirroul Bowling Club, which was my first sort of stint as a bowls coordinator.
Yep, I do remember that.
Did 12 months down there, and then the opportunity arose at Club Maitland City, where I am now. Moved up here in 2014.
So
3 days.
Just for anyone who's unfamiliar with the Sydney sort of area, Maitland City, DJ, how far away is that from Sydney?
Well, I'm about 2.5 hours from you in Cronulla, aren't I? Yeah, about
so
that. Just outside. We're about north of Sydney. We're about 30 minutes inland from Newcastle. So it's a bit of a culture change moving from the shores of Wollongong and Shell Harbour and all that there. But
nice down there.
It was a good move. So January 2014, moved up here 3 days after the birth of my eldest daughter Zoe. That was an experience too, having to move a 3-day-old up here. But Club Maitland City's gave me a great opportunity. Everything's developed up here pretty well. Not just a bowls coordinator anymore, sports sponsorship and facilities manager. So a few strings to my bow.
You've got like what you do up there in Maitland City. That's what we want to push on to our listeners as well, as your experience as a coordinator, administrator within a bowls club, and hopefully over the coming weeks that your experience that way will will come out on our podcast, and hopefully our listeners can take advantage of your experience.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm not your stereotypical bowls coordinator where people think, oh, he's just, just goes and plays bowls and the club employ him. Like, I'm not good enough for that. And I accept that. But my skills off the green, I think, are pretty high standard for admin. So, and I think I've shown that over the years with doing zone match committee. And then I was on the state match committee for a while there. Always an opportunity there to potentially go back to that. I've certainly enjoyed my time on there. And if I think the sport's going in the right direction, I'd certainly like to be involved in that again. I'm all about the admin side of things too, mate. Just love the sport, want to see the sport thrive. And you could do that more off the green than on the green, I find. But
yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can do that with the podcast. And in coming weeks, we'll be talking about things like administration, where our sport's going. And hopefully our listeners will tune in and see what we discuss.
If you like opinions, you've come to the right place, because I got plenty.
Absolutely.
Of them. And I'm like most bowlers, I'm very happy to share them too.
Sounds good. Makes for a good podcast.
Mate. Yeah, it does. Well, so speaking on the podcast, I mean, why are we actually doing this? I mean, we're trying to promote your TBA a bit. I mean, you were looking at ways to promote the TBA. I've always said I like to talk. I might try to do a podcast. 6 months later, here we are.
I might have to buy myself a timer here for next to the mic and, cut you off when you need to cut off, because, I think you can ramble on a bit. But anyway.
Certainly can. You just do the breathing for me and just let me go. But yeah, obviously having those opinions and just thinking that people would like to hear them, here we are. So, yeah.
That's it, yeah. Hopefully we can include not only some discussion topics that people want to hear, things that are being discussed throughout clubs, throughout associations, throughout states. We want to hear from you guys out there. Send us in, your questions, queries, what you want us to discuss, and we're keen to talk about it. And hopefully that benefits our sport. That's the idea that we want from this podcast. We'll discuss different things that are happening, events, tournaments. We'll go around the states, and we'll touch on some other states throughout Australia. But I say with being in New South Wales, most of our bowls is in with New South Wales. So I'd say we'll have a little bit of a bias that way. Yeah. But hopefully we can go around the grounds a bit and have a segment called Around the Grounds.
Yeah, well, it's a learning experience for us, mate, too. Like, as you said, like we've spent all our bowls here in New South Wales. We know what it's all about around here.
Yep.
Diving into that Queensland and Victoria in particular, and over in West Australia maybe as well. Like, it's all a learning experience for us. We'll find out what the big events are and go from there. And if by all means, I'm all about getting some topics off the listeners as to what they want to talk about and stuff. There's plenty on there. If you look at the Facebook pages, there's plenty on there.
Plenty of chat and plenty of comments whenever things come up and changes or new directions of bowls. Certainly gets discussed on Facebook. Money
in the game, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Things like that there, by all means, if there's things people are actually listening and want to hear, at least we know them people are listening, and we'll deliver the goods. So
that's it.
Yeah. So touching on the Around the Green stuff, man, as you said, we'll hope to bring some big events and stuff there over the next couple of weeks. But I think probably the quickest thing for us to dive into now, just to get people up to date. State titles there, we're running one just only a matter of weeks ago there in Bowls, New South Wales. So we'll start with the ladies, mate. And given that you've had a lot more success with the ladies in the past, I think I'll let you take this section and tell us how did the women go.
Well, I think for the women's event at Dubbo, the Bowls, New South Wales, it was just a Dawn Hyman show, and she took out nearly every event. So yeah, fair play to her. That's an awesome achievement, and definitely has to be up there as one of the best lady bowlers out there at the moment. Who else could compete with that?
Not even just the ability to win all the events, but the endurance to go through that too, because it was back to back to back to back, and like in some instances when you were there, because of the way the format is, you're playing a final in the morning, and then you're having to go again and do a new event round one. So
in the afternoon,
to be able to do that. So, who did she play with, mate? What did she win?
I think her first event was, now correct me if I'm wrong, but her first event was in the mixed pairs, and that was with her partner Tom. So I mean that's another added pressure to play with your partner, I think, as well in a bowls event, and bit of added pressure to make sure you play well. But well done to Tom as well in the mixed pairs. And she went on triples with Brianna Smith and Sam Ferguson. what else was she? Singles. I mean, yeah, stormed through. And the only sadly thing she didn't take home was the women's fours.
Yeah, she must have lost out in the qualifiers there because there was a team from Cabramatta that got through.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And the pairs as well. I think we missed the pairs there with Natasha Russell.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's good. Don't worry, mate. If you're wrong, I'm happy to correct you.
You're not shy in correcting people.
No, definitely not, mate. That Cabramatta team, red hot, mate.
Oh yeah,
star-studded.
Star-studded. That's a quality side to play against. Is that a newcomer? Her name's Karen Murphy. I think she's been.
Yeah. She's just new to the game.
Just
I think
new to the game. Yeah, like
she had three experienced players up front with her.
Yeah.
Nah, Jessica
well
Tell,
done to those girls.
Yeah, definitely plenty of stars around the women's game there throughout the whole event. And yeah, definitely, mate. How did you think? Just before we go on to the men's and stuff, how did you think Club Dubbo did?
I think they put on a really good show. Especially, I was there for 3/4 days, in really tricky conditions at times. The weather didn't hold out. There was a lot of rain, so like the greenkeeper's done a great job to keep those greens in any sort of condition playable over that length of time and the amount of games that was played on those greens. Those guys done a really good job. And also it was tricky for the administrators too, with some rain delays that we had. It pushed everything back and they still had to get games played.
Yeah.
And the guys done a really good job. There was plenty of live streaming going on. People were tuning in. You know, our club members back at Tarrant Point were saying they were all watching the games that we were involved in, any of the live stream games. So yeah, there was plenty of bowlers watching and it was good to see.
Yeah, so just to reiterate on that, if there's anyone listening from Bowls New South Wales, you actually got a compliment there. Usually they get run down pretty much on social media. Simon Little actually delivered a compliment there about how you could think on your feet, so that'll be something new for them to take away.
I'll look forward to the pat in the back next time I see a few of the guys.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, I'll touch on the men's stuff then. So, not necessarily in any order, but yeah, with the men's winners in the fours, that juggernaut that is Lee Schreiner and his Raymond Terrace team, Matty Boyce, Jamie Minter, and Tim Twining taking out the fours title. That's quite a few titles in New South Wales now for Lee. He's just red hot, isn't he? He's just
racking up the titles,
top,
and
he's top player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on player. And then on to the triples. We had a little bit of personal heartbreak in there for you. He's going down with your Tarrant Point team by one shot to the team of Jack McShane, Heath Lewis, and Tom Rich from Marylands.
Yep, we were greatly disappointed to come so close to state triples title, but sadly it was not to be our day in the final. And yeah, fair play to the three lads. They played really well, played tough, and yeah, Jack played some awesome bowls towards the end, which kind of tipped it their way. But yeah, wasn't to be, and yeah, we'll be there next year to try and win that title.
Yeah. Just off air, we were talking. Whose fault did you say it was?
I did not say it was anyone's fault. It's lawn bowls is a team game. DJ, that's something we'll look at in the coming weeks, and it's not one person's fault. It's a team game, and it does not always boil down to the last bowl and the last end. No. As I've alluded to a few club members, that it's not one bowl that loses you a game or wins you a game. It's usually a lot of different bowls throughout the game that change that scoreline.
Oh, I was watching that one on the live stream, mate. Obviously, with my connection with you and Dave Axon, and I sent you that video, BPM at 100, and I was only just sitting watching. But some of the bowls that young Jack played towards the end, I really thought helped get them over the line. Like he's a pretty special talent. Hopefully,
yeah, he's one to watch. Definitely within New South Wales. Keep your eye out for him. Anyone who's not within New South Wales, who's interstate, just keep your eye out for that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. The pairs then went to Ben Winter and Brett Spur of Mount Lewis via Victoria. Yeah, they're our pairs champions for this year. Might see them guys names a few round a bit more with some representative fixtures and stuff maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the blue ribbon event, we got the singles went to Jay Bruce from Alua Bay. He's our 2023-24 men's singles champion. some quality bowls played throughout. I must admit, from watching the live streams and then being there for the fours as well, and definitely well done to Club Dubbo, who were the main hosts, but also the other clubs around Dubbo too that put on the other events. Because although we've touched on the women's and the men's open events, there was the President's Reserves, there was the senior women's, senior men's and stuff that was all played all at the same time. There was the mix, as you said, at the start of the event, and there was also the multi-disability for the first time as well. So it really was a big show over the better part of 3 weeks, and I think Dubbo really showcased themselves pretty well, and yeah, well done to them.
Yeah, I think it was good getting all the events in the one area. Obviously, you need a few clubs to run so many matches and games at the same time. But yeah, I think it was a good move to get everyone there at the same time. So we had a few Tarrant Point teams we had one in the seniors, a couple in the seniors actually, and the women's events as well. So it was good to have a group of our club members there all competing, and we sort of bounced off each other in terms of geeing each other up and getting ready for games. So yeah, it was really good.
Did Razor enjoy his 3-week holiday in Dubbo?
He was there quite a while, wasn't he? Yeah,
he was. Yeah, but there's not too many people support their club mates better than Razor. Like he's been in his position. He's the face of Tarrant Point, and he was there. He was there and about. You seen him everywhere, and he was supporting everyone. So now he's good to have around. It's good for the culture. So there's, but. All right, mate. So on to a new event in Bowls, New South Wales, the elite competition that they're starting to run is the Platinum Pennant. This will deserve its own sort of designated podcast, I think, in the future. But we'll touch on it now. We'll review it a bit more, like I said. But mate, as a player in the event, first time it's come up, how's the excitement levels on a personal level, a club level, and how's the motivation of the club sit? Obviously, you've always been successful in the Grade 1 pennant. How do you see this Platinum Pennant in comparison, and what's the feel around the club?
Yeah, it's interesting, this new concept for anyone that's unaware of it. Bowls New South Wales have launched Platinum Pennants as a kind of an elite level pennant competition, just trying to get some more viewers, some more people watching the elite level competition. They've had a few goes, I think, over the years to try and get this elite level competition up and running. I've always heard from people around our club harken back to the days of Premier League. Did you ever hear that, DJ? That was a few years before we arrived.
It was, we never actually got we didn't get to experience or play.
We didn't experience that, but I believe that was quite a show back then.
Yeah,
and there's nothing really has stepped up to that grade, I think, in the last few years. So hopefully this may be it. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think so far, for anyone out there, it starts Friday the 5th. So if you're listening to this episode after Friday the 5th, that's the very first game. And lo and behold, the very first game of Platinum Pennants is Engadine versus Tarrant Point. So that will be a highly anticipated match between the two clubs, which are local rivals. Engadine is not that far from Tarrant Point, and yeah, we know the guys really well there, and we also have close tussles between Engadine and Tarrant Point, so that should be a good game to kick off the Platinum Pennants on Friday night. So for anyone else who has tuned into this podcast before Friday night, it will be live streamed on Bowls New South Wales, I believe on their YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to check it out, see how Tarrant Point go, cheer on mighty Tarrant Point. And a little birdie tells me that I believe my rink is being live streamed as well. So I'll be playing second on Dave Axon's rink. So if you want to maybe watch on for a little, we might get some emails, some comments about how poorly I played or how well I played. You never know, DJ.
Definitely a bit of sledging going on, I would say.
Yeah. So, but in terms of the actual competition itself, it'll be a quick fire competition. Pennants. We are playing at least 2 or 3 games every weekend. So yeah, it'll be really, really quick, and it'll be done and dusted in 6 weekends, 7 weekends kind of thing. And there's going to be a final series, so the top 5 in the ladder will go through to our finals weekend, and that'll be held down at Warilla Bowls Club. So that'll be good down in the indoor there, and hopefully there'll be plenty of spectators coming down to watch the final series.
Yeah, is that why you told me you'd already booked accommodation down there that week, mate? You're pretty confident?
Don't even go there.
I will. Nah. You know I will.
It's going to be it's going to be difficult for me to say anything really, because it could come back and bite me. But I've tipped us on Friday night. I think we'll nudge it in. I'm going to put it out there that I'm going to say a margin of 15. So let's see how it goes.
Well, mate, it's certainly a nice addition, that tipping competition, to get the general public interested. I've actually gone for yous as well with a margin of 17, so pretty close. Okay. So, given that you're controlling this podcast and when it goes out, are you brave enough to put it out before the game in case it gives a bit of a motivation to some people?
I think, yes, we're going to get this podcast out before the game.
Yeah, I like that. We'll interested and see if it makes it into the end getting team talk or not. But
so what do you think? What do you think, DJ, on how this concept will go? What's your, from a neutral point looking in?
Very much sitting on the fence. Time will tell, mate. Like you've said about Premier League, and a lot of the clubs in Sydney sort of rave about what Premier League was and stuff. A lot of the smaller clubs around the place say that it ruined the game. It's a bit of a dirty word at Club Milton City. I was expecting us to go into this event, and quite a few board members were around back in Premier League days, and I'm not entirely sure because it was before me what was the sting with it. But yeah, some of them were a bit like, no, we're not going to go for it until we know what it's all about. So we're going to sit and watch very keenly. Bowls is getting a bit smaller in our area at the elite level, so this is the type of competition I think we need to do. I still think we've got a lot of very, very good bowlers at our club to showcase.
Absolutely.
Some ex-state players, an Australian rep in Mick Cronin, things they got there, and we definitely could give that a bit of a rattle. But yeah, we'll watch on with a keen eye and see how it goes. And we're in need of an elite level competition in Bowls New South Wales. We got to showcase this sport a lot better. I'm not sure if this is the event. I've said to you before too, like I'd much rather, if it is the event, that it's a standalone competition. I'll dive into that more in another podcast on my opinions, but I don't like an elite level competition being played at the same time as other players are playing. I mean, you've got to get people out of the games to watch it, to build that atmosphere so that the general public that might be in the club on a Saturday watching the football look at the green and go, well, what's going on out here? And that's how you attract them to the game. But like I said, more on that into another time. Yeah,
definitely. So, we'll dive into that. And I think that'll come under really when we look at how our sport's going and what direction it's going. I think we'll dive into that.
Yeah, cool. And also, Simon, another regular segment that's going to come up each week. There's obviously linking to the TBA, Bulls Academy. It will be your Coach's Corner segment. It'll be all about you, my friend. What can everyone listening expect from this section, over the next couple of episodes? Like, what are they going to learn from this particular section?
Yeah, we're going to dive into some player development. We might look at some things like purposeful practice, ball psychology, the mental side of the game. We'll give some tips out there and hopefully help players, take their game to that next level. Any Bulls aspirations, goals that people might have. How do we achieve those? What kind of things do we need to be doing week in, week out, and at different events and tournaments to try and get the big W, to get the win on the green, and how we can sort of play better as a team. It's not only a singles event. We play a lot of team events, and how do we cope with playing with different players, different strengths, different weaknesses. And we're going to dive into that sort of coach's corner and give you guys, the listeners out there, some help along the way. If you do have any questions, anything you think that we could look at, just shoot them our way, and we'll give you some contact details at the end here, and you can hopefully get any questions read out on the podcast. And DJ and I will discuss it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay, so DJ, coming up to the end of our first podcast, how do you think so far? Do you think people can understand you okay? I think they'll be okay with me, but...
Yeah, you've definitely got a bit more of a twang than I have, and I tend to go back into the old brogue accent whenever I talk to someone from there, so I've definitely thickened up a bit. But yeah, we'll see how we go, mate. By all means, I don't expect to be top of the Spotify downloads this week, but
Not this week,
I
maybe next week.
reckon we'll be up near there. You don't have to scroll down too far to find us.
Yeah.
And as we go, we hopefully plan to add some extra segments, and we'll certainly invite the viewer feedback to add to these segments. Such things like hot topics around the clubs. I mean, what's being discussed at your club that's maybe sparked a debate. Throw it at us. We'll talk about it by all means. Pretty interested in throwing out the gripes with DJ segment. I mean, there's plenty of stuff there. I don't mind.
I think that'll be a good segment.
Yeah, I don't mind having an opinion on things. And just as a bit of a disclosure that my thoughts and opinions are that of myself and not necessarily as my employer or any association
That's
that
a
I may
good
be
disclosure
associated with at
yes.
the time. It is purely down to DJ's thoughts. And
otherwise, you could be looking for a new job.
Yeah, I'll be as good as I can, but by all means, they know what I'm like too, and they respect that too. Let's look at some maybe clubs under the spotlight. Let's look at some big clubs. What are they doing? Some little clubs. What are they doing? I mean, there's a big difference to the city clubs and the country clubs. They're all fighting different battles. Things like that. There, it'd be good to look at some things like that. Obviously, player interviews with some of our elite. Grab some of our top players that we've got a pretty fair network of people that we can dive into. So let's get a few of them in.
Grab a few of them,
what do people want to hear from those people? And, just anything else that people want to come back at us with, to make this thing a bit more interesting. It'll be good to see that we get, 75 million people listening and all having their opinions. And what do you want to do?
Yep. Well, hopefully if we just reach a few bowlers, I think I'll be pretty pleased with that. And hopefully we do. We might look at some live stream podcasting as well. I think we'll take baby steps so far. It'll be audio only, but we'll look to do some video feeds as well. And
neither of us sort of are trying to say that we're any sort of production geniuses. This is all pretty much from scratch. 2 laptops, 2 microphones. Let's see how we go, type of thing.
Yeah, we might get a few filters for your face, DJ, and it'll come out really well.
Yeah, I think. We'll see how we go, man. Have you got any mirrors in your house?
No.
Yeah. You keep polishing that head, mate. You'll be right.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Oh dear. Like mate, Jana's never really sort of said to me about my aesthetics. She's always just told me as long as I don't lose this accent, I'm pretty safe. So we're all good.
Okay.
So, anyway, mate, that's it for this episode. We'll be back with a few more, hopefully, if we haven't got cancelled, and hopefully the interest is out there to keep us going. And I wouldn't mind seeing a few dollar signs rolling around in Simon's head with all the money coming in if we can get to there. But by all means, we're just here for the sport of bowls at the minute.
That's it, DJ. We know there's no money in bowls.
Oh, yeah, no. But please, by all means, folks, leave comments, give your feedback if you enjoyed yourselves. If happy listening to some of your opinions on different topics the listeners want to hear from. Perhaps in the meantime, if there's anything else you want to know about myself or Simon, then by all means, shoot us a comment. We can address those questions over future episodes. And of course, be sure to check out the TBA website on www.thebowlsacademy.com, where I believe, Simon, people can sign up to a mailing list and things and get in touch with you with your own personal email address.
Yep, they can jump on there, Simon at thebowlsacademy.com. Just flick us some comments and messages, positive, negative, happy to receive all. And shoot us some questions. We'll have a mailbag probably segment that we'll have a look at some questions and delve into. Get in contact with us. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on any podcasts or any blog posts that I put out there with any resources, there's a mailing list and a bit of a community. So just pop your email address in there and you'll be added to the Bowls Academy community.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, mate. Well, good to finally get this off the ground. That's it. Until next time, just everyone remember, keep that little disc on the inside. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.